This is the Silt versus role-playing game, A God Must Feed Part 12. We have done most of our catch-up basically off of recording. And so we're going to just kind of roll right into things. I do want to say where everybody is in time and space right now, though. Right now, Pele is arriving in the sort of urban center where the Skyward Sprawl is at. Theo has arrived in the Whispering Plains, seeking out Alm and Jasper, presumably, and Sedna is heading up to the upper levels, of the of the of the Skyward Sprawl. And so I see a note here about end of session questions. Is that something? Oh, be sure to
Yeah,
mark
that's
them.
fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Change them if you wish.
Hmm.
Okay. So let's talk about where we're at. The assignments are Skyward Sprawl and the Bowered Companion. Skyward Sprawl, you have your three possible ways of resolving this assignment, three different questions. You have 6 or 5 clues currently. I'm going to just review the clues. You have this geological survey mapping rich mineral deposits beneath the Dreams of Ease development. You have Lucien Baton's heresy that was silenced. You have the elevator shaft not being a part of the original blueprints of the building. Improper sacrifices have been made in the foundation, and the surface of some of the walls is a polished concrete, with the very top layer being a translucent layer with black veins snaking beneath it and pulsing. The Bowered Companion, you have answered the first question and determined, well, you haven't determined, but it has been determined for you that you have to destroy the god in order to retake the trade road quickly. The question now is, if the quickest way is to destroy the god, how is it vulnerable? It's a complexity 4. Resolve the assignment by destroying the god or otherwise neutralizing it. You have 3 remaining clues that you can use here. Painted on a shack wall, turn back. There's an effigy of twigs and broken glass, and animals are unusually friendly. They can be touched if you reach out to them. And so that's how's that's going as far as assignments go. You have all of your 8 conspiracy clues, and so basically as soon as the assignments are resolved, we will head straight into endgame for this campaign arc. We have verses to narrate, we have places to arrive at, we have things to do. We're going to start with Sedna, though. Sedna, you are reaching the upper floors of the Skyward Sprawl, having been safely ferried there by, I believe, Sister Plate Glass, if I'm not mistaken. Is that her name? I always forget their names. Yeah, Sister Plate Glass. The upper floors, these spacious apartments, are the homes of the Dreamers of Ease, devotees of the Skyward Sprawl. The cult occupies a pristine complex of tasteful furnishings, conversation pits, and creature comforts provided and maintained by their deity. Cultists speak all around in rapturous tones about the bounty of their god. And perhaps most important for our purposes, across the way, Sedna, you see the entrance to the sacred elevator shaft, and next to it, a looming 8-foot modernist statue of a robed woman with stark, aquiline features. Let's paint the scene, everyone. How do you know that the dreamers have completely forgotten who they were before the sprawl?
I think there's depiction. Oh, go ahead. Oh, I just think there's depictions on the wall that we see of a time where the sky was open and clear and you could see what was in it. There's obvious faded signs of constellations long forgotten because there's now nothing but the sprawl, just the idea of concrete roofs overhead.
Everyone has a false name. We have Sister Plate Glass and Brother Rebar, uh, but that's because they don't remember their real names. And you can tell because every time somebody talks to somebody else, they're trying to remember what their new name is. And sometimes things get mixed up or repeated, so we might have more than one Sister Plate Glass or more than one Brother Rebar.
I think to carry off of that, there's moments where people like Sister Plagueglass and Mother Rebar are walking around, and when they speak with other members of the faithful, there's a moment where one of them will walk up and be like, "Oh, it's been so long since I've last seen you," and another one will be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't think we've met. I'm Brother Scaffolding, and your name is," and they will be like, "Oh, my name, my name." Then they'll wander off while they mull over that question.
They do things to inoculate themselves to the skyward sprawl to prevent the rotting rust from entering in their skin. They rub plaster all over their bodies instead of just leaving this wretched, cursed place.
I want to hear that verse that you have to write in a moment, Sedna, but before we do, I want to zoom out away from the tower, through the parking lot, through the fenced perimeter, which demarcates the battle zone, through the streets where we see evidence of Novice Timber's escape and the afflicted that were pursuing her, down alleys choked with an ever-increasing number of afflicted, streets filled with abandoned cars and trash and debris, and Pele Kessel on a motorcycle, fully exposed to everything out here, including the spores, including the zombies, including all of the hazardous things in the road, and had the traps and the barriers and things. Pele, I want to know how you're going to safely navigate to the tower. But in the meantime, let's check in on Theo Solomon, who's arrived at the Whispering Plains. The Whispering Plains, I will remind you all, is the wilderness outside of Ulm, equal parts forest, field, and hissing electricity pylons. It's crisscrossed with muddy trade roads and polluted canals. It's perpetually covered in this fog. And you can hear whispers in the fog, which is what gives the plains its name. It is a land marred and scarred by industrialization, but one where the wilderness holds on as best it can. And Theo, as you are making your way through the Whisper Plains trying to reach Ulm, you might even overhear Jasper Finch, not hard, in this quiet, misty wood sound carries. And there's one of two things going on here as your boot steps into a slick of honey. Either there's an incredible number of bees just honeying all over the place, or this is further evidence of the escape test subject that you've become increasingly aware of in your travels, and it is here in the Whisper Plains. And Jasper Finch. Still, face to face with Aiden Pataki. I'm curious, Jasper, if two people, or if one person, or if someone was looking at the two of you talking, are you playing the role of Aiden Pataki so well that an observer would not be able to tell who is the real Aiden Pataki and who is the creation, or who is the
No, I
the
think
creation? Like what is real, what is not?
I've said this before, but Jasper Finch is a shadow on the wall of a cave. I think that anyone looking at Aiden Pataki and Jasper side by side would probably think they're brothers, right? Because like he's not in his Aiden Pataki, like he didn't have a costume. He like assumed the
It's just the,
persona,
yeah.
but like the mannerisms. So it's like Aiden Pataki is clearly like dressed as, you know, the uniform driver, but he has some of the same, you know, facial features, and like he looks like Jasper Finch but like slightly removed. So like you could, it's like how you can kind of tell the difference between them. It's like if they were dressed the same, you might have difficulty, but Jasper does have his blue anorak and usual like mess of hair, whereas this Aiden Pataki has like the outfit and all that. And I think he actually has like a mustache.
What does
Like
he look like? Could you tell us?
yeah, so I think Aiden Pataki is like dressed in this like kind of olive green, one of those like boiler jumpsuits with like a company like logo patch over the chest. He looks much like Jasper, which is to say they are kind of like a pudgy poor man's Clark Gable. Um and whereas Aiden Pataki has like full kind of like facial hair that's starting to grow, and Jasper only has the little mustache. Um, he has more of like a haggard look to him, where like just someone who probably spends a lot of time on the road, or at least what Jasper assumes someone who spends a lot of time on the road would look like. So slouched shoulders a little bit, bags under his eyes, and maybe a little bloodshot. But other than that, like they do look pretty similar.
Sedna Spindler, please write your verse.
Well, last thing that happened, I was writing the verse of the Whispered Psalm, narrate a flashback to the time the saint touched you directly. And I think it's during the part where Sedna is going up the stairs and the lights are sort of flickering due to the bad electrical as the building is under siege. And we flashback again to that little town, Windrip, where you have been living, and it's dark. You are glancing around the corner. You dart out from beyond a darkened doorway, and your boots are crunching on the pavement, and it just sounds so loud. It echoes throughout the quiet streets. Follow the street lights, the voice from the radio says, and you see the lights behind you and inside the streets, inside the homes. They all go dark. The main street still lit up, leading the way, and you run. The people in the village, they start to take notice, and they are leaving their homes. They're giving chase. But you've worked for this. Since the last time you tried to escape, you've trained for this, guided by the voice in the radio that you've been hearing, and you're faster than they expect by this point. The water does come, as you knew it would, and it sloshes up against your boots in small waves, slowing your movement and tripping you, but you do manage to keep upright. Stop now, the radio commands. And you do. You turn to face the town. The townspeople are charging towards you, and they're pushed along by the water as the wishing well floods the streets. And their faces are placid, almost content, almost calm, but their yells and their screams, they're begging you not to leave them, begging you, pleading you, desperate to not leave. They're deranged. You can feel the oncoming surge of water as it rushes towards you from the well to try and block you from going further. And you whisper to the radio, I'm ready. The bolts of electricity that rains down from the heavens is blinding. The thunder that quickly follows is deafening. It strikes you directly in the chest, and you can feel this disruption of your heartbeat. You can feel that stabbing, stinging pain in your limbs and your digits, and the liquefaction of your eyeballs, the goop dripping into your open and screaming mouth. And you can feel the burning of your internal organs, and the pain escalates. It's excruciating until you can't even scream anymore. Then you open your eyes. They're no longer liquefied. And you blink into the brightness, and it's day, and you're outside. You sit up expecting to feel that pain, but you feel fantastic. The townspeople are scattered among the streets. They seem like they've maybe been blown back from you. but they're charred. Some of them are still smoking. The water is evaporated and burnt away. There's just a few small puddles, and they try and lurch towards you ineffectively. The static in the radio catches your attention again. You've done so well, the radio says in its calm and quiet and reassuring voice. It's the voice that you remember that's been dredged up from your memories. It's just like you remember. Madam Light is proud of you. And I'm proud of you too, your mother tells you.
Is that it?
That's it.
Thank
That's all I
you.
got.
For writing a verse in the upper floors, you actually trigger a special rule. For writing a verse in the domain of Mother Asbestos, a hallowed priestess, the aforementioned statue over by the elevator shaft, she will whisper a clue in a barely perceptible death rattle to those who do so. You can hear her whispering, drawing you to her. A building. A building. A building is a machine. A building is a machine for living. But, what is life? Come closer to me. Do you?
Warily, I do. I want to find out more, but I also don't trust any god, especially not this one.
Yammering fools with names, probably, like Brother Exposed Brick and Sister Glass Pylon, paw at you, touch the hem of your yellow work jacket, gently caress your big old hard hat, pressing your black bangs down as you get closer to Mother Asbestos. She is this looming 8-foot modernist statue of a robed woman. Her skin has been transformed to incorruptible fire-retardant insulation, and her robes are mirror-polished concrete. Her almond-shaped and vigilant eyes weep tears of rust. She was the first to worship the sprawl. She is now positioned immobile next to the sacred elevator shaft. In one hand, she clutches the rusted building manager's keys on a ring. The other finger points to the heavens. And she speaks to you. Again, she explains to you that a building is a machine for living. This is your clue. This concept, this idea. But she speaks about it in ways that are more esoteric. This idea that life itself is just an input into this grand machine. That the easy living is a sort of concrete or mortar of its own, spiritually speaking, holding the building together. and other nonsense. You make sense of it. Meanwhile, Pele Kessel, you might realize straight away it was not a great idea to come in an uncovered vehicle to the Skyward Sprawl. There are these terrible rust spore clouds in the air. You see the poor infected, afflicted people. They occasionally rush at you in little clusters of rust brain madness, very zombie movie like, as they stumble after you, clawing and pawing, and you driving this way or you're pulling this way to get out of their way. But then you find overturned dumpsters and police barricades and cars overturned that make the journey very, very complicated and slow and difficult. I just need to know how are you planning on getting out of this situation? How are you planning on reaching the building relatively safely?
So I have a move called Brand New Angel Flavor,
Okay.
where I have access to a private facility where new cereal flavors are developed and a crude working knowledge of how to transmute traces of divinity into experimental new recipes.
Oh, good.
Testing such recipes requires trial and error, however, and you must frequently harvest new supplies from your experiments. So if we succeed on an assignment, if we complete an assignment, or if I roll a hit on a revelation move, I get a god flesh fragment that I am able
Oh.
to a piece of god flesh to ingest and taste. I think before, as we're seeing like the motorcycle come up, we can see there's a form in the sidecar next to Pele, and Pele's just talking
Hmm.
and goes, "It's quite concerning how much Dr. Ishikaro is involved in these things, and it's taking my mind off of work, it's taking my mind off of other works, and it's taking my mind off of things that I need to focus on for Sweet Jolly Crunch Tooth, like this." Driving with one hand, like emoting with one hand, and then reaches in and pulls out, and you can see the motorcycle goggles and everything, holds up this gooey purplish blue chunk taken from Welkin's Vigil, which was taken from like that area that we just kind of see, like Pele just scooped up, picked it up, and put it into a jar, and goes, "When you see this, Theo, do you imagine that there is?"
But Theo's not there.
I
Theo's
know.
it.
I
No.
know.
Oh,
Theo's not
got
there.
it. Got it. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
This is good.
When you see this, Theo, what do you think? Most people would say mush, nothing there, blue undulation. But I see potential. I see being able to overcome the odds with a boom. And I'm going to ingest it. And when I ingest the God Flesh fragment, I am able to create an experimental new flavor of cereal. When I consume it to taste its effects, roll with communion. On a 10 plus, the miracle works without further cost. Choose your effect. On a 7 to 9, the miracle works imperfectly. Choose your effect and complication. And then a miss, it doesn't work.
Let's have it.
And as Pele takes this in, I've had this move for a while. It's the first time I've used it. It goes, tangy, tart, both underlying sweetness, like a boom in your mouth. Boom berry crunch. Amazing. And that is with communion. That is
Yeah.
That is an 8.
That is an 8.
So I can do one thing that is beyond human limitations, or I can lure a specific person or entity to me. I can observe another place or time, or I can communicate with someone or something which you do not share language with. I think do one thing that is beyond human limitation
Got it.
is make my way through this field of spores and everything with like just wearing motorcycle goggles. And like it doesn't affect Pele at all because of this Godflesh fragment. But because of 7 to 9, there's a complication.
You got to
So
pick
I
complication.
yeah. And I'm going to choose, it draws immediate and unwanted attention
Yeah. Oh,
to Pele.
interesting. Interesting.
But with that, was saying that, going to go, Boomberry Crunch. What do you think, Theo? And I'm going to Pele will turn and look at the sidecar, and there's a person wearing a motorcycle helmet and motorcycle goggles that creepily turns. And the advancement that I took from last session is Child of the Fields. My elders taught me the ritual of crafting a scarecrow, a servant from straw, old clothes, and forgotten parts of dead things. Your servant has no thoughts of its own, but works tirelessly to assist you from the fields and furrows. So essentially, once per session, I have the scarecrow servant that can do things for me, and it's like taking a 7 to 9. But I think we see Pele goes, "What do you think, Theo?" And turns and looks at the sidecar, and we just see what is obviously a ripped up old like floral Hawaiian shirt that Pele just found, and bits of straw and sticks, and there is a dried what looks like a gourd head that has like crayon drawings of Theo's glasses and just mice, just mouth and everything. And you can see there is one part of Theo, which is one of Theo's lab coats, like little lab coats that Pele has taken and draped in the arms of this thing. And it just sits and looks at Pele, doesn't say anything, and Pele goes, "I think so too." And then it just turns back and just like focuses, and Pele drives forward.
I love it. We will pick up with you having safely navigated to the tower.
Mhm.
And I do have an idea for the immediate unwanted attention, which I'll get to at that time. Now let's get to Jasper, Aiden Pataki, and also Theo. But
Mhm.
Theo off screen presently.
Yeah, I feel like you said that since Theo can hear Jasper through the woods. What Theo would hear is Jasper speaking with Aiden Pataki saying, it's miraculous, is it not? It is clearly the entire world around us is but a performance that we are presenting for the eyes that watch us from every shadowed corner. Do you not see your importance in this, Mr. Pataki?"
Aiden Pataki, he has a look of dawning wonder on his face. He says, "For eons, I floated in the abyss, a night sky pinpricked with starlight. I was the star child. I floated in a glowing amniotic sac. I was a small thing, not even a child, not yet born, but my eyes could see. I floated through the vastness of deep space, trying to find what place would be my home, who would give me life. And then I saw the Creator. The Creator reached his hand through the blackness, through the void, his life-giving finger aglow. And I stretched my hand and my finger towards it. And then the centuries, countless, that brought us together, shrunk down to just a singular moment of divine flesh, tipped with fire, touching my hand, my little tiny fetal hand. And I awake now, and I see that you are him. You are the Creator. You are the only God among gods. It is you, Creator. You have brought me here. And he looks at, does he have like a name tag or something on his?
He does, yeah. On
yeah.
his, he has like Aiden Pataki is what it
You
says.
have brought me here in the form of, and he looks down, of Aiden Pataki.
I saw you. I saw the truth of your existence. I saw it out there in the void of the stage, waiting to be brought into the light. As I sat there in that mellified chair, I thought of a name. I thought of a persona. I thought of a single moment of distilled truth, and here, through the mists and the curtains of our void reality, before the watcher's own eyes, you are born, my child. You are born.
I love it. Theo, what are you doing right now?
I'm hearing this sort of like echoing like dialogue off screen. I'm just like, what on earth is going on? Like this is just so weird. Like this is weird for like is Jasper like performing at someone and like performing at someone? I don't know what is going on because like this smells like Jasper all over it, but it doesn't sound like Jasper at all. So, but it could be him because he's been known to like put on disguises and whatnot. So I'm just like trying to find the source of this noise.
I think you can see them in the clearing, no trouble. I mean, it is nighttime, it is pretty dark, but
Hmm.
Aiden has a light. And presumably Jasper, I think we said that Jasper has a flashlight as well. And they're having this conversation. They're both caught in each other's wondrous stare. And then Aiden's eyes get really wide. And he says, "Oh." He's looking beyond you, just over your shoulder, Jasper. He says, "No. A demon from the pits of hell have come to overthrow this glorious kingdom we have made here in this wood by the light of these torches." And Theo, you can see the Institute's handiwork looming behind Jasper.
Oh fuck.
Oh
You can
no.
you can see it just outside the nimbus of light of the combined flashlights. So you can't get a full view of it, but you basically see what looks like a stretched out, enlarged rib cage, as if a person's body was all rib cage, but with no skin and just a few dangly organs. And the rib cage is covered with a glaze of red flecked honey. And then atop the rib cage, much, much smaller than the massive bulk of this hive-like rib cage, is just a little withered arm and head as the saint. That's just the part you can see looming over Jasper. Jasper, you can smell honey and blood, and you can see the look of wide-eyed wonder and terror on the face of Aiden Pataki. What do you do?
I turn around to behold the source of his expression, and I see this saint.
Fear not, Creator, Aiden Pataki says. I will be your avenging angel. And he puts himself between you and the saint. What do you do?
I immediately grab Aiden Pataki as if to like pull him back and be like no, you mustn't. You are beautiful and new. Stand aside, you know.
This is going to
And
be the revelation move. What do you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
I'm afraid my new follower and slash divine child is going to get ripped apart by a saint.
Yeah, that's fair. Go ahead and roll with focus.
Let's see here.
Do I have any conditions? Sorry, I was just looking at the sheet. Just making sure.
You have empty in the lantern, but I'm not evoking
Okay,
them.
yeah, then just plus focus. Sure. All right, that is a 10.
Nice. Go ahead and describe how you keep Aiden Pataki safe.
Yeah, so we see that as Aiden had like stepped forward to intercede between the creator and this creature, Jasper actually quickly grabs him by the boilerplate jumper and it pulls him back and uh and looks him dead in the eyes for a moment and says, "It is not always the time to present yourself as the hero. Sometimes you exit stage left," and like begin to like grab him and run away from this saint.
Theo,
Uh,
what are you doing?
I think like just with like how I'm imagining the position, like Theo is like trying to like get on the scene and try to like see what's up because like it's dark, and then I see them like turn around and just start bolting towards me, and I think like it's just like they run past me. I'm like, what? And then I see the scene and I just start running alongside because I have no idea what's going on. I don't know what this creature is.
Do you run as well?
Yeah, because like it's made it's
I
probably trying to eat us.
I would like to invoke all the world's a stage in this scene.
Oh yeah.
God.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we've had
Oh
that.
no. I'm
Yeah.
so
So-
scared.
I'll read it. Let's
Yeah.
see. All the world's a stage. You have the power to alter reality by performing as if you were reading a script aloud on stage, so long as it pleases the watcher. When you deliver a theatrical monologue and narrate what you hope is about to happen in a scene, roll with presence. Please do. Also, you may invite your fellow custodians to play along by contributing a single detail. Add 1 to the roll if each custodian participates. Do you? Well, so
Yeah. So what we see is as he's like, running, and it's just indeed, we find ourselves a flight from such a dreadful demon of the pit, my friend Pataki. But worry not, these woods, though dark they may be, the creature's gait is easily far more. Hold on 1 second. Far more shambling than our own. And indeed, with time, perhaps we can lure it into a trap, a pit for it to return to. You see, for these woods have many a ditch, many a broken bough to snag a wayward step, and we, the careful ones, shall climb safely across. And indeed, what's this? Ho! Yo! I invite you to participate since I see you running.
The land has been cursed with creatures plenty, with honey that spill forth on the way, but it is sort of falls within its grasp as honey is slick and I don't know, I can't rhyme. But
That was quite good. That was very good, Theo. Keep running. It's behind us, but there's great potential in you. Yeah.
I love it. Great. So yeah, let's roll with presence with a plus 1 because 1 custodian participated
So I get
in the monologue.
Yeah, I get a
Let me take a
plus
look at
3
your
on this.
look at your
Yeah.
conditions though.
uh,
Your conditions are, I think that the Bowered Companion is still out there trying to lead you astray with the lantern, and you have to actively avoid running into another trap. So go ahead and roll with disadvantage, please.
I will mark my shadow lantern as like a counter and
Lantern v lantern.
to
Escape.
the
Yeah.
Bowered Companion's attempts to lead me astray. Lantern v lantern, yeah, exactly.
I love it.
I carry my own light, thank you very much. All right, so flat roll plus 3. That's not bad.
It's not
Let's
bad.
give it a roll. That's a 13.
A 13.
Yeah.
On a hit, some detail about the world from your performance is now true. Say what it is. What is it?
That this thing is gonna fall into a pit. Like there's like a ditch somewhere in the forest that this thing is gonna go tangling and tumbling into while it's chasing after us.
I love it. And on the 10 plus, the watcher is entertained for now. Any custodian with the condition of disappointment may clear it, but you do not. All custodians who participated in the scene may take the condition inspired.
I'm
You can
definitely
clear
doing
this.
that.
You can clear this condition at any time to get advantage on a roll. So, just give us the rest of the scene. How do you escape the escape test subject with the pit?
Yeah, I think that as we see, it is like chasing, shambling after the group. Its little, arm like scraping at the tree branches overhead. I imagine it lets loose some like awful, deep-throated, fleshy sound that sounds like bees rattling off of the rib cage. And as we run around, we come across one of those shacks that I was exploring earlier. And as we kind of like run around it, it just like barrels right through it. But as it crushes through the rotting wooden wall, the shingled little tile wooden roof buckling with it, we hear like the crack and groan as this like kind of like sinkhole in this wood village. The planks like buckle and break as it lets out this terrible sound and falls into this pit in a tangle of wood and bone and honey. And as we take a moment, we catch our breath, we have our flashlights like just shining down the pit as we just watch it just fall deeper down, catch our breath, shine the light over at Theo, and I'm like, splendid performance, Theo. Well done. You run nearly as fast as your tongue invents new phrases to perform with. I think that you and I are beginning to truly understand one another. This is Aiden. He is my child.
Wait, you
Are,
have a son?
are you also a servant angel of the Creator?
That is me. I am the creator.
I take a look at like Jasper and then a look at Aiden, and I'm just like, you can't be doing this. I don't think the Institute would appreciate this, creating whole human beings out of cloth.
The
It was
Bureau,
not
but yeah.
It was
Yeah,
not
you're-
cloth, Theo Solomon. It was truth.
Same difference between you. Your words come from the page, and some folks. So
No, no, Theo. That is your misunderstanding. The words never come from the page. We may read them off of the page, but the words inscribed themselves come from truth. The
I love it.
truth is the only void by which creation can occur.
It's so good. We're cutting there. Okay. Sedna, after you receive this insight from Mother Asbestos, you have all these Dreamers of Ease crazies up here in this like quite luxurious level of uh, couches and conversation pits and crackling fires and all that business. What do you do?
I want to grab the keys from the statue's hand.
Oh, interesting. This will be the revelation move. What are you afraid is going to happen if this situation goes poorly? If either the people react poorly to what you're doing or Mother Asbestos herself does something?
I'm going to get pushed down the elevator shaft. Don't want
How
that.
could it be worse than that, we wonder? I don't know if it is worse than that. It feels... Oh, just to make it particularly fun and poignant, just as when you arrived, a sacrifice was pulling themselves half alive through the elevator shaft at the bottom, you will be doing this in front of Pele as Pele arrives at
Oh,
a nice welcome, I would say.
that's bad.
Does it
Roll
kind of
with...
mirror how you first entered the sprawl too? Didn't somebody
That was
collide in the ground?
I think that was the
Yeah.
most visceral reaction I've ever seen out of Amanda. Like for that, that was damn.
That's rough.
This is going to be with communion, and because of overconfident, I'm going to put you at disadvantage as well.
Wow. Okay, well, I'm also going to use the mallet and spike that I have to help chip the
Oh yeah, the rust away.
keys out of
Yeah, I love
So-
it. That is going to be 2d6 minus 1.
My communion is -1. This is fine. Oh my lord. Okay. That's a 3.
Oh, it's a 3. We'll come back to this in a moment. Pele, you are at the fence. And you see, well, you're at the fence. You have your scarecrow, the motorcycle. You can even see the little like tear in the fence that was significant in Sedna's scene when she was getting the generator back on. You can hear the hum of the generator working. Good job, Sedna. You hear a young woman's voice. It sounds really familiar. And indeed, when you look and see who it is, despite the fact that she has a top knot of hair secured by a napkin ring and is wearing robes made from panels of quilted wood effect chipboard, she otherwise looks just like Shay. And she says, and she looks like she was like kind of hiding. But when she sees you, she says, "Hey, you, big, big, big guy."
Yes. Can I help you?
Do we know each other?
In another time, in
Oh,
another
maybe
place.
not Shay. Is it Shay? Who's the kite seller?
I
That was
think
Shay,
I think
right?
yeah, it's
Yeah,
Shay. Yeah, the
Yeah, it
kite
was
seller.
Shay.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I saw the chat. It's the kite seller. Yeah, to be clear. Continue. Sorry, Pele.
We did. In another time. Well, another place. Tried to help you, and no matter what I did, I couldn't. And
You've you've you, you, you've come for me. You've come here.
it seems that no matter what choices I make, or what I attempt to do, or who tries to take things from me, destiny finds a way to will itself.
Well, I'm
The
sure
wheat
it's not
stands
destiny.
tall.
I'm sure it's the gods, naturally. I listen. I escaped. Well, not just because it's a fucked up war zone, but also because I've I've been dreaming about you. I've been dreaming about you, and I knew that I had to come find you. I didn't know that I was only going to get like 2 blocks. I expected more of an epic journey, I think. Although I have been through quite a lot. And here you'll notice that she was tortured, if I remember correctly. I think her eye was put out. And you can see now as she turns, you can see like, the cloth that she has over her eye. You can see little seeps of blood and stuff. But here you are. I guess I should have just waited, and you would have showed up. What does it mean? What are we meant to do?
We're
I,
here to help, right?
I
I'm here
don't
to help.
I don't know. I don't know what any of this means.
Can you take me to my friend Sedna?
Sedna, and then she describes Sedna and says, "Yes, yes. Oh my! My mother and father always taught me that we have to learn how to understand the gods. That the gods do not speak with words; they speak with symbols, with actions, with dreams, and it all makes sense now. Sedna helped me escape, so that yes, if we're talking about the same person, she helped me escape so that I could bring you to her. But why? What is this all in service of?"
You were in there, and you escaped.
Yes.
And you said Sedna helped you escape.
Well, yes, I I was caught by the Slag King zealots, and they tortured me. Actually, did the torture happen? I can't remember. Or was that versed out? It did
It
happen.
happened.
Yeah. And if I remember correctly, after the torture, they just let her go, or Senna, did you? What happened there?
Uh,
So no, you can go ahead, but I do remember what happened.
What is
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
yeah, we just let her go.
Mhm. Yeah, Sedna made a roll to like convince the zealots to let her go and rolled well on that. So like after the torture, she got
Oh,
fine to
got
go.
it. Yeah, okay, good. And then, yes, she explains all that, and then she says, and then I think she helped me escape a group of afflicted, and I've been hiding, and you're the reason why. You're going to help bring an end to this terrible war, aren't you?
In recompense for one that I caused, yes. This is my path. We were never supposed to leave Welkin's Vigil. We were supposed to stay there for what we caused, and this is how I must atone.
I don't know about Welkin's Vigil. I don't know where that is.
You wouldn't. Another you would. Another. Not another you.
I will say that her eye injury
Mhm.
is somewhat reflective of
The gunshot
the
wound?
gunshot wound
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
she suffered.
What is your
Well,
name?
Uh, I'm Novice Timber.
Novice Timber. Do you like kites, Novice Timber? Fans. Things that get caught in the wind and just flutter and fly. Birds. Windmills.
Um, uh, uh, yes.
If I give you something, will you promise to leave here? You've done your part. You've found me.
But I have to
But
get you to your friend.
you can just tell me. I'm very good at directions.
I know a secret way.
But you have to promise to leave as soon as you show me.
I I will, but what if the gods mean for us to be together?
Then there'll be a time and a place. But right now I have work to do.
Hmm,
And I never let pleasure get in the way of business.
I love it. Let's take a 5-minute break. Jasper, if I remember correctly, you owe us a verse as well.
I do.
But before we do it, I want to kind of fast forward on you and Theo and Aiden. Basically, like early the next morning, I think you probably spent the rest of the night like hiding. Maybe we'll say like just hiding out from the terrors of the misty wood. And now you are at Ulm. The town of Ulm is barely large enough to be considered a town, and only noticeable because of its proximity to a major trade road. There is a sagging town hall boarded shut, hand-painted signs for gravel roads, smoke from wood stoves mingling with truck exhaust and the sharp scent of pine. Distant birdsong from the forest presses in on all sides. Paint the scene. What here tells us that this town, despite it being close to a thoroughfare, doesn't get much outside traffic?
The sign out the welcome sign of the town is long since out of repair. It's fallen to the weeds, overgrowth, and rusting over. And there's a bit of paint that has been applied to it, that like different types of graffiti. But the most recent one that stands out, it just says "Welcome to Hell."
The people that live in the town, their clothing is very outdated. They're not on with the trends at all because they don't know about them.
There is there's a public square where multitude of events take place, including gallows, a public gallows. It utilize and it's still functional. It is properly maintained. It is clean, but you can see that there's no like dust or gathered. There's no plaque on it saying "Remember what happened here." It's still you're remembering it because you're seeing it on a daily basis.
Theo in particular recalls having been here in the past, specifically like typically most poxmartyrs, they can travel and like hit the main like sort of rural places, but this place an invite was specifically sent out to the poxmartyrs for them to come here because normally they wouldn't even come here.
Jasper, the spotlight is yours.
Theo, this place reminds you a little bit of Weft, does it not?
A little bit. I've personally have been here before. It's been
Have you?
Yeah.
When?
What is Weft, creator? Is that some sort of ancient place where the first people dwelt?
In a manner of speaking, but by first people you mean, well, never mind. It is a small town we visited early on in our assignments. Not worth remarking on, but
During your
reminds me of this
celestial
place.
pilgrimage?
Yes. What you were saying, Theo?
uh maybe we will come back to that later.
Mhm.
And it's no need to like be nostalgic about that.
Fair enough, fair enough.
We need to teach your child about stuff because he can't be talking around like this. It would upset some people.
Interesting.
Uh,
Very well then. Let us find a place that is perhaps this place was clearly built for travelers in mind, even if there are very few who pass through. Let us find perhaps a diner or some place with which to grab a drink and a meal and to speak with Mr. Pataki. And I feel like as we're walking through the town, we cut away. I have the verse of history to narrate here. The second one I've ever done for Jasper. We see that same abandoned, dilapidated theater where he was before, and indeed, seated before the typewriter, each of his fingers punching at the keys. Since we last saw him, though, there are many pages that have been complete, stacked neatly on the little side desk, but also some that have been like strung up with like clothes hangers and are like hanging there, little tapestries of a script. As he's punching away at the keys, he's saying, "Ah, yes, indeed. Act 2, Scene 4, I think is time. Let's see, where are we?" He sits back in his chair and ruminates, his fingers twitching, yearning to return to the keys and spread forth his truth as he says, "Ah, interior studio day." And as he begins to type again, we have a little, dissolved transition. The lights of the abandoned studio overhead on the catwalk are exchanged for bright studio lights that illuminate down. And you hear a little like narration of like, "It's the Harry Junkers program." It's this like, one of those issues based chat shows that's airing. This is clearly a few years ago. And it has like a live studio audience. And the talk show host is doing one of the many like advertising breaks for the show, brought to you by the Grinding Lord Special Blend. And they actually have uh, a song and dance routine for this program. You actually see these dancers dressed in full body like thermoses and like coffee brewer kind of mascot costumes. And who's this leading the group? Why, it's Jasper Finch in in a suit with a nice bow tie, and the crowd all, it's this whole like song and dance routine, the instant grind, the coffee divine, the grinding lord's blessing in every sip you find, fast and bold, a taste untold, rise and shine with the brew of gold. It's this whole song and dance routine, and Jasper is just like, whether at work or on the go, the grinding lord's brew steals the show. No need to wait, it's instant delight, a heavenly blend, morning or night. And the song and dance routine continues for a time. And people clap, people in the audience have their courtesy mugs of the grinding lord special brew that they chug with rapturous glee, some of them gurgling the grounds amidst their throat to just bring themselves ever closer to that divine zest of life. And it's after the show. It is backstage in the studio. Harry Jonkers, the host of the show, is shaking Jasper's hand, saying, "Great stuff, Mr. Finch. Fantastic stuff. Well, now we'll see you on next week for they're making the slot and all that." And we see Jasper is like packing up his stuff. He's paying the showgirls. He's giving them their cuts of the pay for this entertainment. And we see him stepping out into the streets of Glottage and carrying his suitcase, hopping on public transit. He is already opening up his briefcase, and he has hundreds of clippings, brand advertisements, and the multitude of churches are looking for new representatives of their brand, these miracle bringers of in the entertainment space. And we hear his stomach growl with hunger. His cheeks are a little sunken in too. He's clearly a little starving. His skin's taking on a jaundiced hue, but we don't see him take a break at all as he moves through the city. He goes home. He just is fully devoting himself to the craft, ever pressing forward to perform and bring the miracles of entertainment to the people. There's even a woman that we see at the apartment that they share. In the background, though, we rarely see her face because she is just being like, "Jasper, are you coming? Are you coming to bed? I haven't seen you in 2 weeks." And Jasper just looks over his shoulders. I'm actually about to head out again. I have a 1:30 a.m. appointment on Sid Wright's program. Can you believe it? And she just tiredly sees herself to bed as Jasper, grinning with rapturous delight, contemplates the miracles he is bringing to many.
Fabulous. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Theo, you will notice as you're making your way to this diner to have a conversation, a hard talk with Aiden Pataki, you will see someone who might catch your attention because they are afflicted. It's a kind of a middle-aged man with a tight ponytail, denim work vest, has a cigarette stuck in his mouth that smells like clove and freshly turned earth. He appears to be a handyman of some sort based off the fact that he's got some tools and he appears to be trying to repair a window shutter on the outside of a building. But his work is difficult because he's hunched over. He has some sort of affliction of the spine that causes him to twist forward and down, and it makes it difficult for him to do his work. He seems like he's in quite a lot of discomfort and pain. What do you do?
God, I can't leave this by. You know me too well, Jason.
And so,
Uh, excuse me, are you Are you all right there?
He says, well, as all right as I can be. Here, can you help me a moment? And he's trying to like put this like shutter
Mhm.
up, and
Yeah.
he needs you to hold
Yeah.
it up so he can like
Yeah.
hammer a nail in.
Oh yeah, yeah. I assist in doing that. Uh, maybe I could assist you further, as like I think he's just like hammering away at the sort of thing.
He says, I would not trouble you with my ailments, Poxmonk. I and he says, I don't think this is even one that you'd be willing to take on. And indeed, he's so twisted up that he stands shorter than you, though he would stand taller if he was not so bent over because of his back.
Well, if you won't allow me to physically take your condition from you, I must insist of giving you some sort of relief, and I will hand over my bag of gummy leeches. It
What
seems
is
as uh uh I'm effectively triggering the other half of my let it pass on to me move.
Oh.
When you give a side character a helpful item, cross it off your altar, and I get to clear a condition.
Ah, very good. Oh, good. So
Oh.
these, I assume, will help with the pain or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
it will help with like any inflammation or anything.
He takes one of the gummy leeches and he puts it between his teeth and bites down, and you can see a little spray of gummy leech fluid burst from between his lips and gums. And he says, "Oh, that actually feels better. I was supposed to eat that, right?"
Yes.
Oh, good. He says, yeah, I feel a little, the pain feels a bit numbed. I appreciate it, Poxmonk. That's very kind of you."
Mhm.
So with the move triggered, now what happens?
I get to clear a condition, and I'm going to clear my pus-filled abscesses,
Oh,
like
very good.
because I think that's sort of thematic as the sort of crunching of like
The bursting leech, yeah,
Yeah.
in his mouth.
You know, Theo, they say honey's very good on abscesses.
Dude. And then you also get to you just get to clear the condition. Okay, great. So that's it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Anything else you want to do with this guy?
Not right now. I think like I have other focuses as personally. Like I'm very concerned about Jasper bringing up forth a person to life. This is just like I
So
can't
says
leave him
Jasper.
alone.
So says Jasper, and this person. It could just be a you know,
Either way, like it doesn't matter whether or not it's true or not. As long as Jasper believes it's true, it's effectively true because I have seen Jasper use his faith to change reality because he believes it to be a way. So it's and as long as he believes that he created this guy is under his thrall. So
The diner is called Burger Finger.
Would love to know why.
And they will take your orders, and Aiden Pataki is, he views every object, the salt shaker, the oilcloth, tablecloth. He views it all as like having spiritual significance in this pilgrimage he's taking with the creator. It's probably getting a little annoying at a certain point. We'll pick up with the scene in a moment, though. Sedna, we don't know how you ended up going down the shaft. We don't know if you were pushed. We don't know if you tripped. We don't know exactly how it happened. But you are You do have the keys, but you are falling down the shaft. From our vantage point, it's in slow motion. I think you fall, and at one point, your face brushes up against a cable, though at high speed, so it just shreds your cheek and ear as you fall rapidly down the shaft. At another point, you bounce off one side of the shaft and can feel your shoulder and elbow snapping as you smash into it. As you continue falling, your right arm gets caught in a bit of metallic, like kind of, something like something kind of sticking out. Your right arm gets caught. This does not slow your descent, and your right arm rips out of the socket, and now you are spinning, spraying blood down the shaft as you continue falling. Your face mutilated, your bones busted, your arm missing. And mercifully, you eventually land at the bottom of the shaft. At Pele's feet, when you land, your organs burst out of your mouth, but also out of your new arm wound, and you are quite dead. Pele, you were at the elevator shaft. You found the pit that's there in the parking garage. You see the opening to the elevator shaft, the bottom of it. Novice Timber explained to you that there's actually a small secret maintenance ladder in the ceremonial shaft that goes straight up to the upper floors. But Sedna came to you, and so Sedna, what's going on here? Are you dead?
I am.
You are.
We see the broken corpse that was Sedna, glassy-eyed and bloodied, with organs expelled from various orifices, missing an arm. The arm is actually landed down in the shaft shortly after
Like a
Sedna
second later.
landed. Yeah. Everything is very, very quiet for a moment. And then you see light blue lights shining through Sedna's skin, lighting up the circuitry that is embedded in her body. And it starts to thrum and buzz. You see the same kind of circuitry over in the arm lighting up. You see pieces of her body parts that have blasted out in a radius around her also lighting up. And things start to just pull together in a buzz, almost magnetic, pulling back into her body, pulling back in through her mouth, back in through the wound on her arm. The body that was Sedna, the corpse, is jolting as if being electrified as all of these pieces come back in together. And just as the arm reattaches and lights up, her eyes flick open and she looks up at Pele. Pele! Pele! Help me! Reaching out with a bloodied hand that is broken and busted, but even as you watch, you can see the bones reforming, cracking into place audibly. Help me, Pele! I fell down the shaft. And of course, I have used the body electric, which is a move I do have.
Oh, the body electric. You have embedded a piece of hallowed circuitry under your skin. You can communicate with other custodians telepathically over long distances, power simple electronic devices by touch, and cause a part of your body to illuminate at will. If you would be struck dead, the saint's circuitry will respond with a shock that reanimates your body. Narrate the moment of your miraculous recovery, then mark the box below and lose access to this move, or you're losing the move. Indeed. Paley, how do you react? You're muted.
I don't fucking know. I don't think Pele knows. I think Pele's just staring, just slack jawed, and just kneels down and doesn't try to scoop you up. But I think you can see like the body parts are slowly assembling back together and there's electricity and stuff. And I think Pele's just gonna go, my, Sedna. You shouldn't have come here alone. It was hubris of myself. We can get you back together again. Let me help. And I think Pele is just going to, while Novice Timber is behind, just probably watching horrified, and that lanky fucking like fake Theo is just like scarecrowing like behind in the background, just like in the shadows though. Pele is going to start doing the army doctor, the field medicine work of taking your bones and forcing them back into place and pushing the flesh together as electricity crackles between it, just almost just like not with not even any care of deafness. You are in pain, but you have surpassed pain. You fell down an elevator shaft and you are beyond this and your body's reforming, so you're going to be in pain no matter what. So it's just helping the process along, pushing the bones back into where they're supposed to go, grabbing the arm and moving it and putting it where it had been ripped off and everything. And it's just molding like a child with Play-Doh. Like weaving wheat, yes.
Since you sacrificed so much for this, I'm going to let you have the keys as a clue. I'm also going to let you have a floating clue or an undefined clue about the shaft itself, something you saw or witnessed or became aware of as you were falling down it, Sedna. You can define it whenever you want to. And so let's pick back up with Theo and Jasper and Aiden Pataki. Jasper, how's this conversation going with Aiden?
Aiden, while I may be the creator, you need to understand that there are two forces at play here, the creator and the watcher. My role is insignificant if there is no one to watch, so there must be a watcher, and the watcher is always watching. That is where our lot comes in, Aiden. We have roles. Mine, the creator. Yours, Aiden Pataki, the lorry driver. That is you. You, in your glorious purpose, are a man who takes things places, a man of the road. You must learn to adopt this role wholeheartedly, Aiden. It is the truth you were created from, and you must embody it, or the Watcher will be most displeased.
I do have a question, Jason,
Mm-hmm.
because like it seems to me like Aiden Bataki is struggling to pick up his role. Is there any sort of divine interferences at play here? At least
Well,
physically speaking?
I don't know about that as much as I think the Watcher in the Wings is probably very intrigued by the idea that Jasper is taking credit for
So
Aiden
it's
Pataki's creation.
so this is just the Watcher of the Wings fucking with Jasper, honestly speaking.
I'm not sure. I don't think we've really established it. I mean, the Watcher of the Wings, they
moves in mysterious ways.
All gods do. They don't communicate with precise in any precise way. But if what you're asking is, can you take from Aiden his sort of clouded mind or clouded in order
Yeah.
to, I think that's an interesting angle and approach. Are you willing to take on like a condition that would make you start to question your own identity?
Yes.
Okay. I'm open to this if you want to do it.
Okay. I guess this triggers let it pass on to me, weirdly enough. Uh,
I mean, it has to be a physical condition. So I don't know
yeah.
if it quite qualifies, but I do think if you want to um,
Just take
do the second part, assist a side character in a
Mhm.
task without accepting payment, um,
Okay.
maybe you wouldn't take on a condition, but you could at least trigger the other part of your move, and we can say what you're narratively doing, is something like that. But
Yeah. Okay.
um, maybe helping Jasper realize what's going on here.
Theo, you've barely touched your burger finger. Are you going to finish that?
No, it's a gross, greasy thing. It's not good for you.
Well, I'm starving. He takes the plate.
Aiden is taking all this on. I don't think he hasn't quite like mastered the sort of like stage metaphor yet of what he's supposed to be doing. But Aiden Pataki, lorry driver, is starting to make a certain degree of sense. And he's sort of, he still is, his performance is still quite wooden, and I think he doesn't really have what I would say is he doesn't really have it factor.
Yeah.
Doesn't really have like charisma. He's kind of missing something fundamental as far as this goes. But there's also just the minor thing that he doesn't probably know how to drive a truck, so there's that small issue as well. A lot of things standing in the way. Theo, how might you help Aiden Pataki reach a breakthrough here?
I think like with all like this metaphors and stuff, I think it's just going over Jasper. Honestly, Aiden Pataki, I'm sorry to be the one to disappoint you, but Jasper Finch is not exactly your creator. Rather, it is the Watcher in the Wings, and that for all intents and purposes, you are a human being, a lorry driver who does not really know how to drive, and we're trying to like incorporate you into the world right now. Uh, for intents and purposes, here we are all equals, but we will take care of you until you are ready to gain independence out into the world.
He says, and I think he's like nodding and starting to somewhat understand what's going on. And he looks at Jasper and he says, "So you're not the creator?"
I gave you name and truth. I think very firmly. He looks at Theo with actually like a dangerous stare. He says, I created you. I did create you in word, name, truth, description, persona. The Watcher indeed imbues the creator with the ability to create.
Stop. Jasper, why don't you, for once in your life, actually shut up about all of this? Because that does not really matter. I know that we all work both for biased. I know, like, you have your own gods and whatnot, but frankly, it's not particularly useful. It does not forward the goals of biased, or if it particularly, it doesn't forward my own personal goals in this and helping the good folks out in the world. This helps no one but yourself, so stop it.
Perhaps I need to take a moment outside and take a breath. Perhaps the air would do me well. I'm starting to feel a bit of acid reflux after my burger finger. I will be outside. And Jasper tersely gets up from the table and steps around Aiden and goes towards the front door outside.
A waiter comes up to the table and says, blessings be to you, all hail the burger finger. You've been chosen to go to the back and receive the blessings from the anointed fry cook and to smell the burger finger. Do you accept this blessing?
Theo sighs and says, yes.
Very good.
Oh god, that's a terrible joke.
Is this what it's like to be Catholic?
Basically.
Yeah. Ash Wednesday being this past week, and like I go out to do my daily errands, and I just see people walking around with ash crosses on their forehead, and I'm like, oh yeah, I get to smell the burger finger.
Next, we see Theo. He has a shirt that says, I got burger fingered, and all I got was his t shirt.
Also, why is it always Theo that when there's a food with a like food related saint in the back or like in a basement, it's Theo. Theo is the one that has to go to the butter princess and talk to the butter princess. It's Theo that gets to smell the butterfinger or the burger finger.
Theo's just really lucky, I guess.
Smelling the burger finger is a whole different premium you have to pay for.
Yeah.
Fabulous. We're not gonna role play that scene. Chaotic. I just like it. Good. That all feels really good as far as that goes. We've got probably like 40 minutes or so of playtime left. So let's maybe not quite that much, maybe like 30 minutes of playtime left. Sedna, Pele. Sedna, do you want to define that clue now, or do you want to wait till you're in to answer a question?
I would like to define a clue and answer a question.
Oh, go straight to it, eh?
hmm
Let's have it.
Now, Pele, I know that you just got here, so if you have any observations that you have discovered from your time being here, what I am thinking is going on. The question I would like to answer is, where is the hallowed corpse of the Sprawls saint interred? The clues, and we have a lot. I think what's happening is that Lucien Baton, who was the architect, he discovered that there were infiltrators in the Slag King's followers. He found the survey of the geological rich minerals, or the geological survey of the rich mineral deposits beneath the development, and looking at the blueprints, seeing that he made the blueprints, but there was this elevator shaft that wasn't part of it included in there. He realized that there is an infiltrator that was working against the Slag King. And I think the infiltrators recognized that there was a god living in these mineral deposits that was trying to get out. Maybe the god had talked to these followers. And it was longing to leave the ground, leave those mineral deposits and spread out as high up as it could possibly go. So the elevator shaft was secretly built initially as a way for the god to be released from the underground up into the sky by these followers. When Sedna was falling down the shaft and hit the bottom, I think she realized she could see right at the bottom from inside the shaft, because she hadn't been in there before, there's a hatch. And she could tell based on the way the lock on the hatch looks and the way the keys in her hand look that the maintenance keys will open that hatch. And out from the hatch, you can see the same sort of rust and black veins that are growing throughout the rest of the building. So this is where the god was released. There's a secret hatch built under the secret elevator that goes all the way down to the mineral deposits, which is how the god got out in the first place. Where Lucien is he was thrown down into the underground shaft to give the god enough strength, that as a sacrifice, to give that god under there enough strength to escape out through this built shaft. So what happened is it turned the building that was being built into a machine for living for that god to rise up and live. The improper sacrifices in the fountain were out of desperation from the Slag King's followers to push back the sprawl. They didn't know what was going wrong. The thing that went wrong was that there was no actual hallowed interred corpse for the Slag King. It couldn't, the Slag King couldn't even take hold because it didn't happen. Lucienne was sacrificed to God in the minerals, and that's what grew into the sprawl. So Lucienne is at the bottom of the maintenance shaft, where there's the root of the power of the building, the black beating veiny heart of the whole machine.
I think that accounted for every clue. It was every clue. Yeah, that was really good.
That theory is completely correct. Yeah,
I'm not
like,
here. Yeah, I'm not gonna steeze on your thing. Yeah, you got it.
that was fantastic. Yeah.
Plus 4.
If I don't get this, it's going to be really embarrassing.
You rolled like a 2. You rolled snake eyes.
Right?
Well, now that you've said it.
11.
11. Very good. You are correct, and you will have a very easy time of the resolution, which the opportunity is to resolve the assignment by destroying or removing the body. The building will rapidly rot and collapse as soon as the assignment ends. So,
of course, I was going to destroy the building. That was my goal the whole time.
Yeah. No peace brokering situation here. Okay. I think what we'll do is we will take a 5-minute break. If everybody will think about what this scene looks like, we're going to handle the resolution just in round of narration. We're not going to do any die rolls or anything. So be thinking about that. Also be thinking about Jasper and Theo, what you want to do next in Ulm. So we'll be back in 5. Jasper, after you're done huffily stomping away from Burgerfinger, there is still a matter of Devoured Companion, your job that you've been conscripted to, and figuring out,
I guess,
figuring out how to take back this trade road, which you have determined the easiest way is to simply kill this ridiculous, troublesome god. Got to figure out how to do that. What do you do?
Well, now that I'm in Ulm for the first time, can you remind me roughly like what locations are around this place? Like kind of.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, probably. I think that there's not much in this town. You did notice that there are a few little kind of like small houses and lean-tos around, outside of the main sort of like drag, which is where you're at right now. There is a small town hall where I suppose you could go chat with whoever's there.
I would love to go to a town hall. That probably has a stage.
There's a library.
Well, I only read the classics, so the town hall.
Indeed. I think when you get to the small town hall, which is not much more than just a couple of offices and a front reception area where there's no one, somebody comes out of one of the offices. It's a man who appears to be graying early at the temples. He has a bolo tie. He does seem to speak with broad theatrical gestures, which you might appreciate. And he sees you and he says, "Oh, hello, welcome. I heard about you and your friends coming into town. What do you think of Ulm so far?"
Oh, so far it is in desperate need of biased services, but worry not, we shall return the lifeblood to Ulm once more. I understand you're having a bit of a god problem.
Yes, that is, well, it's not as bad as all that.
I'm terribly sorry. I didn't catch your name.
My name is Ellison Hunter.
Ellison Hunter, very good name, very good.
Oh, thank you. I was thinking about going into acting. That was my stage name. I liked it though, and I kept it around.
A fellow thespian, then. I myself am an actor as well. Prior to my conscription into Biased, had a rather successful career. Perhaps I could extend to you some of my contacts in Glottage. I still have a bit of a fair number of influence in the world of stage.
Oh.
If you still wish to pursue those dreams, of course.
Well, at this point, I could probably only get parts playing dads or creepy uncles, but you know.
And those parts are crucial to the stories they are to be telling. Every role is sacred, after all.
He says, "So you're with Biased,
Yes, I
looking
am.
into our little issue on the
Yes.
trade road." At this point, go ahead and make the information move with presence.
Yeah, I'm gonna clear inspired for advantage,
Oh, great, go for it.
and it's also a lot of spite inside of me for Theo. Not for for Theo. Yeah. So advantage. All right. Wow, that's bad. Plus presence is an 8.
Let me read the move again. 7-9. Oh, complication. Okay. Very interesting. He says, yeah. Well, I might be able to help you out with that, but hey, I bet, I bet, I bet you're just itching for a tour of the town. Come on, I'll show you around.
Splendid, really.
And he takes you out, and he's kind of, walking around. He's like, we're really known for our hiking out here. Absolutely beautiful landscapes, great trails. Um, you know, we've had to close down for the season. You know how it is, but we still have plenty to offer. Have you been to Burger Finger yet?
I have. I did sample the burger finger as well.
Did you get a chance to smell the Burger Finger?
I didn't pay that much money.
Well, lucky you. So, and he's kind of showing you around, and I think at this point, I'm going to give you a clue that you're going to just notice in the
Okay.
area. He's not going to tell you anything of any relevance or interest, but you will see what appears to be a hammock hanging vertically from a tree, wrapped around something, maybe a body, like a spider's web around an insect. And when you point that out or look at it, he will quickly move you away from that. He's like, beautiful town, hiking, nature.
Yes, such beautiful trails. I've walked a few of them myself on the way into town.
Oh, yeah, great. I love it. So good.
Are you quite all right, Ellis?
Yes, Ellis. Yes, Ellison.
I feel like you could drop a syllable.
Oh, do you think that's the trouble? Not punchy
Ellis,
enough?
Ellis Hunter. It feels more punchy as opposed to Ellison Hunter.
Ah,
Ellison Hunter sounds like a general store.
good. We'll keep going with this in a moment.
God damn it, he's right, and I hate it.
I'm going to give you a complication that's a condition, which is basically, I think that Ellis Hunter now, you are marked by Ellis Hunter. He's just going to pester you about your connections in the world of theater.
Yeah.
Theo, we're not going to roleplay the scene of you in the back receiving your blessing.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just say you step out of the dry storage looking absolutely shaken. There is the waiter, who is also the cook and the busboy. He says, So, how are you feeling?
I would have liked a better warning beforehand.
Well, the gods work in mysterious ways.
Yes, but people don't have to do that. They could be plain.
I'm Heston Clay.
Yes. And I think like my hand is like pretty slimy, I think. And I just grab Heston's hand. Theo Solomon, very nice to meet you.
So, what brings you and your friends to Alm?
Well, it's been sort of reported that uh God, Kelly, you can't do this to me now. Uh 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 to be that travelers have been disappearing as of late, more than usual. And just wondering if an unruly god has been not receiving the proper devotion as of late.
Make the information move with presence. Actually, no. No, presence is fine. Yeah, presence.
Unless it's going to be with vitality, it's
You're
one
all the
either
same.
way.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Uh, do I have disadvantage from any of my
Nope.
conditions? Okay. Alrighty. I'll roll flat.
In fact, you can probably clear dazed, to be honest, at this point.
Ooh. You know what? I also remembered what I got inspired from. I'm going to clear inspired as well to gain advantage.
Oh, okay, great.
So I have only 2 conditions now.
Whoa.
Look out.
Jeez Louise. That's a 13.
Nice. We'll come back to this in a moment. Let's wrap up the Skyward Sprawl. How do you bring this tower down? Who wants to kick off the narration here?
I crawl with Pele's help after sort of helping put me back together in the appropriate manner. I crawl out of the shaft and I'm still glowing blue underneath my skin. You can kind of see the seams where everything reattached and came back together. And I reach into my bag that somehow I still have and I pull out the geological survey map that I have found. And I point to where I know that this body is now. Pele, we destroy this. The whole building is gone too. Do you have any explosives handy?
I don't, but I do have this. And I hold up a little wind, the little wind fan from that's marked with the Saint Electric. I think I put that in the old character keeper. I was working out the old character keeper earlier this session, which explains a lot of why I was confused on some stuff. But yeah, the it's got prayer marks on it from the Saint Electric and the where's my altar? Where is the a handheld wind wand that's stamped with prayer marks of both the Saint Electric and the Blessed Breeze. And I'm like, maybe a stiff breeze could snuff it out. Stranger things have happened.
We can also use the stiff breeze to light it up. And I'm going to flick on my electric lighter. So I think it's just standard arson.
Standard arson. You know, Sedna, since we started our journey together, things have gotten so much more twisted and convoluted and complicated. But I'm glad we're kind of going back to square one with just simple solutions.
Pele, you and I agree. I think our partnership is going to work out very well. And I think I just flick the lighter. Pele, you point the wind wand,
Mhm.
open up the hatch, the maintenance hatch, and I imagine it's kind of like a flamethrower. And it catches the sides of the hatch on fire. You can see it spreading downwards through the veins and the rust and the living matter of the building, spreading downwards to and lighting up the entire hatch, lighting up the entire crevice. And you could see Lucien Baton's body at the bottom, mangled and desiccated and black and veiny and beating like a giant heart. And then the whole thing is just fire and smoke. We should probably leave. Quickly.
Immediately. Come, Novice Timber and Theo. We need to get away.
When you turn, only Theo is there. Novice Timber is not there anymore.
Strange. Did you say a Novice Timber?
Yes? What's with this scarecrow?
Oh, Theo. Yes.
Okay, let's just get out of here.
Absolutely. I'll make sure that no one accosts you. You've been through enough.
I'm like hauling off the hard hat and hauling off the ugly yellow coat to get back down to my like regular gothy garb. Sure, yeah, whatever.
As you all get on the other side of the perimeter fence, get into your respective vehicles, pulling away, you see the tower starting to it's not like a collapse, it's not, anything loud and explosive and dramatic. It's a little bit like it's like the Thanos snap. You just see like the tower breaking apart and flaking away in the background. And that concludes the Skyward Sprawl. We will pick up in Alm when we get back to for the next session. But for now, let's go to our end of session. Collect rewards. We do have rewards from the Skyward Sprawl. Let's go grab them. I will read these aloud. And I'll also put it in the chat momentarily. There we go. Okay, the rewards for the Skyward Sprawl are a valuable geometric artwork from the Penthouse collection added to your altar, a lump of concrete jackhammered from a wall with a sigil carved in it. Novice Timber becomes a recurring side character. You get one extra clue when you seek her help on matters related to construction and repair. A government manual entitled Architectural Miracles, Guidelines for Neutralization added to your altar. An elixir that dissolves concrete and melts steel. The Skyward Sprawl will gift the prayer mark of its ritual if the custodians have reached an understanding with it. Oh, you did not, so never mind. If the assignment was resolved by healing the schism, oh, never mind, it was not. Those last two are not available. It's just those first 5. Who wants what?
I would love an elixir that dissolves concrete and melts steel. That sounds very destructive, and I want it in my altar. If anybody objects, please let me know.
That geometric artwork is very avant-garde. I'll be taking that.
I feel like the easy answer for Pele is Novice Timber becomes a recurring side character, but I don't know if Jason intentionally made it so that Novice Timber disappeared into the wind because looking like Shay. Who knows? What do you think, Jason?
She's around.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
She's real, if that's what you're asking. Yeah.
Okay. I had a moment where I was like, in my head.
I was purposely ambiguous about it, so yeah.
Pele crazy. I do like the idea though that only like Pele's like I saw novice timber, and then it was like okay, whatever, yeah. I saw Shay again.
Uh, it could be a question of whether or not you saw Novice Timber, and the only reason that she looked like Shay was just it was in your head, Pele. So it could be that you saw her, but it's just a different looking version of her.
Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of maybe you saw her wound, and that made you think of. But the character did act like she knew you, so I don't know. Who knows?
Mhm.
Who knows what is the truth? Let's keep going. Theo, what are you going to take for your
Um,
reward?
Probably a government manual entitled "Architectural Miracles Guidelines for Neutralization" added to your altar.
It is yours. And then with all that said, let's keep going. Answering end of session questions. You all did complete an assignment, so everyone gets credit for the first question. Theo, did you engage with a god, angel, or other divine manifestation? Yes, you did.
The weird little guy that Jasper created.
There's that, but also I was going to suggest the saint as well. So,
Mhm.
although it's questionable whether that's a divine manifestation because it was created with science. So I don't know, but
Well, the weird little guy that Jasper
yeah.
created
Aiden
is
Pataki
divine.
counts. Yeah.
So
you
I
un-
did create him, Theo. You're saying I did create him?
Did you undermine the orders of your superiors or use the assignment to pursue personal interests, Theo?
Uh, Maybe not. I think it really depends on like how you interpreted my conversation with Jasper and what I did with like his little guy.
I don't think it rises to that
Yeah.
level. Were you vulnerable with someone?
I think the opposite. I was not vulnerable with Jasper.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. Sedna, did you engage with a god, angel, or other divine manifestation?
Not really, actually, when I think about it. Aside
Oh
from
well,
destroying the
Mother
god.
Asbestos. I think she was.
Oh yeah, she
Yeah,
did
yeah.
push me maybe into the shaft. I'm not sure.
Were you vulnerable with someone?
I was dead for Pele.
I'm not sure if you were.
And did allow Pele to help reassemble her back.
Oh, that is true. I'll take that. Yeah.
And I did ask Pele for help.
Yeah,
Help,
that's true.
yeah.
Oh, you actually did literally ask for help. Yeah. Did you undermine the orders of your superiors, etc.?
Not yet.
Jasper Finch, did you engage with a god, angel, etc.? Yes, you did. Did you deliver a monologue about various things? Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Were you vulnerable with someone?
I think I was vulnerable with Aiden Pataki about the whole the creation, the glory, the very personal espousing
Oh yeah, I'll
of
take
faith about
that.
his purpose.
Yeah, it was good. Pele, did you engage with a god, angel, or other divine manifestation?
No, did not.
Did you deliver a monologue about the various things that you can monologue
Yes,
about?
I did. Yes, with Shay and well,
That's
not
right.
Shay, Novice Timber.
Novice Timber, yeah. Did you struggle with your personal faith?
I did at the beginning there talk a little bit with Scarecrow Theo, just talking about like just it doesn't matter what we do. Maybe I did the
yeah.
wrong thing. Like, did we do the wrong thing, or we did the right thing and the wrong thing happened anyways? Yeah.
I love it. Do we have any moves that resolve at end of session? Do we have any open verses? Then that leads us straight to stars and wishes. What a session! I feel like every session is a really great session. I just love this game. But who wants to go first for stars and wishes?
Shout out.
Go
ahead.
You go ahead. Okay. I'm gonna say I really enjoyed the hostility, chaotic that you showed Jasper.
Oh yeah, that little Jasper Theo
that little-
moment was like,
yeah.
yeah.
It's real. It was like there was heat there, and I'm like, oh, this is about to be bad. Like these, I'm pretty sure that there's going to be some knives coming out in the near future. This is I'm very excited, but I like that just being like, hey Jasper, shut up. That was great. Amanda, holy shit. The description of your mangled, ruined body, the way you described how it came back together was disgusting, and I loved it. On the same topic of disgusting, but I loved it. Boomberry Crunch, Wes, holy fuck, that was gross. The idea of I'm gonna eat saint flesh and create new, just Well, the Crunch Tooth playbook is easily, I think, one of the most disturbing, but it's also one of the funniest. So that was a really solid moment. And then also Theo, the scarecrow, your little replacement Theo. I heard you on break ranting to Chaotic, being like Theo wasn't there, so he made himself a Theo. Getting big Wilson vibes from it. I really hope to see more of that in play. Jason, I really loved how you played and presented Aiden Pataki about the how it birthed from like just the stick that's seeing the stars and all that. That was really funny. And then just being like, "Are you the creator?" And be like, "Yes." Really leaned into allowing me to seize the egotism, and that was a lot of fun. Also, the disgusting saint, that was rad. I think it was disturbing. I was very excited to have a little action-packed chase scene, and really liked also Chaotic. Theo's contribution was very narratively, like it rolled off the tongue really well. I was expecting a little bit more of like a pushback, but no, like right into it. That was great. Yeah, just a really fun session, and especially after so many weeks of not playing, I was very happy to be back. So I'm looking forward to the confrontation, and I'm looking forward to I hope we never see the burger finger again.
I have to give a star for like where that came from, or Burger Finger it's a Drag Race reference to there's a character on the season of Drag Race, so go look it up. I cannot claim credit for Burger Finger, but I can use it in my game. Star for I love I didn't create him out of whole cloth. I created him out of truth. That was so good. That was the line of the session for me. It was so good. I loved all the stuff with Aiden and Jasper. It was really really. I just had this like really like quick flash of like inspiration of how I was going to play Aiden. I had just watched 2001: A Space Odyssey like literally 2 days ago, and so I was thinking of the Star Child scene at the end of that movie. Spoilers for a 50-year-old movie, and so that just kind of happened, and I was like, oh, there it is. That's how I'm going to play him, and so that was great because it did feed into Jasper's egotism and stuff, and so I thought that was really good, and you did a good job playing into it, and I like how that became sort of an anchoring element to this session's story. I also love the Theo Scarecrow. It was really really terrific. And I like the interaction with Novice Timber and sort of what is the meaning of it. It's a big like interesting ambiguous question, and I'll be curious to see where it goes. Absolutely love Amanda burning a move just to have that scene. Like it was really really great. Like that it was such a bold choice, and that's the kind of thing I love. Like it's a bold choice to say I'm gonna just burn this move like that, like I completely, in order to um have this like really cool moment. Like that's the kind of role playing I love, and it was just a good scene. um and I also really enjoyed the tension between Theo and Jasper. I thought that was a really really interesting dynamic. I think it's really interesting how basically all the other custodians hate Jasper. And it's we don't really know what Pele's relationship with Jasper is completely, or not. I don't know if it's quite as like hostile, but there's some hostility I think between all of them, right? Like we have witnessed some hostility to different degrees to Jasper, and I just kind of love it. I think it's really interesting. It's such a cool dynamic, and it's really good to have characters kind of back together who were so solo for a while. I love the resolution of Skyward Sprawl, and I liked that little scene with Pele and Sedna. It was really really good. And yeah, it was just so much good stuff. It was great session.
Mine
I
are
want
really similar.
yeah.
Sorry, Wes. I'm gonna jump in. Um, I have my notes are kind of out of order, but I have stars for Starathio. Starathio is awesome. I have this idea that whenever now Pele, when he's alone, like they're just gonna make straw people to interact with because of the weird reality that Pele lives in, and what this is and what this means. And the whole Novice Timber Shay thing tied really into that, and I really like seeing the world from Pele's perspective. So big stars for all of that. Stars for Jasper the Creator God, because that's terrifying and nobody wants that. But Jason and Alex, you both played into that so well, and it was funny and still horrifying. You really walked that line spectacularly, so that was great. Theo, when you were trying to take on that one NPC's condition, even though you knew it was bait, Jason was baiting you, and you still took it because that's what Theo would do. That was perfect. And there was a part where you said the
Well, to be
chaotic.
clear, Theo didn't take the physical deformity
No, but
part
you
of
were
the
walking
condition.
into
Oh,
the
I was
situation.
absolutely
Yeah.
laying it out there. I was like, oh yeah, please do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also like the part chaotic. There was a part I wish I could remember what it was, where you were like, Theo sighs and says yes. I just laughed so much. That was such
It
a
was the
great.
burger finger. It was
The
like,
burger finger
you've been selected to
go
go
spill the
back, and you're
bed.
like,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, it's just so good. I really, really like this perspective we're seeing on Theo and how he is reacting to what Jasper is doing, because it is for both Jasper and Theo. I mean, Jasper is a little bit silly by nature of the playbook. Terrifying, but a little bit silly. And then Theo, who's this desperately helpful kind of person, and having them butting heads, it's not something I expected, and I'm really, really, that's a wish. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen here because it's going to be intense, I think. Um Stars for Jasper for the most selfless thing he's ever done, which was pull Aiden Pataki back from danger. Which I was like, wow, that's not what I expected from Jasper. And also for the nicest things he's ever said to anyone, and that was to Theo saying, "You did good with words," which was, yeah, like way, way up there on nice things Jasper's ever done. So there was a lot of really wonderful moments. Thank you all for letting me die in the elevator. The second the elevator came up way, way many sessions ago, I was like, I'm gonna die in there. It's gonna be great. So I'm glad that got to work out that way.
Yeah, I'm really just I'm just so excited to see like what more terrible things are gonna happen between our characters because like Theo has been really struggling within the group connecting to anyone. Like Pele is just kind of just weird. It of like, oh yeah, we're gonna do like these crazy assignments, and then like a few sessions later, like this group like kills like all like a bunch of people like of this town that we were trying to save, and it didn't work out well. I'm looking forward to meeting other Theo, because that's Theo's not gonna have a good reaction to other Theo. Um, Also, in my mind, I never doubted that Theo was not going to get along with Jasper that well. I just didn't think it was going to be as strong of a reaction because, like, I think Theo will be like, "Oh yeah, Jasper's a little bit pompous, but he's all right. Like, he means well." This little creation of his, he didn't treat it well, and then Theo was really angry with that. Specifically, I was leaning into like a condition I had earlier, the cruelty of the treatment of the windmill saints. So Theo doesn't like it when you treat people who are forced into divine positions poorly. So that was the sort of idea behind that. And I'm just looking forward to writing a custom move because I think this is what really pushes Theo to become more aggressive. So I'm thinking about making sort of an attack move with Theo because he can take on people's burdens. But what happens if he could give them back?
I want to give a big star for the Aiden Pataki uh Jasper Finch scene and that whole kind of conceptual talking about like what are we, where do I come from, like the terms using. It's so interesting to hear. It's reminiscent to Shadow of the Between, but also Penny Dreadful of like of Frankenstein's monster, of the creature being so eloquent and being able to speak of his own birth like that. But it's like you were just born out of, you were just conceptualized, but you're like, and as I sat there nestled in my womb, I reached out and I grabbed and like pulled. It was really good. That's the kind of the stuff I've been consuming lately and like media wise. um and I I guess is a star for the system and like the setting as a whole, but also like I've also been consuming a lot of Verhoeven, like Paul Verhoeven media lately, because he handles satire so well, and we're seeing it right now on Twitter, where a big thing on film Twitter, which people are talking about, is Starship Troopers
Oh, I'm
good
so
satire
sick
or
of the
not?
Starship
It's
Troopers
all
discourse. I know.
it comes
Yeah.
around every year, and there's always somebody with a blue check mark that has to make $1,000 off of making like engagement farming. But like, the Silt verses is such like a good like, especially with like the Bowered Companion. I can see this area in my mind's eye so much. This little area that's off the highway that has a Burger Finger and other place, and like it just seems like it's stuck in a time capsule. Um, I loved Theo's somewhat measured response to things happening around that, but being like, we don't have time, but we will talk about this later. I can't. Theo as our resident Millhouse of the party of the group of custodians. Everything will be coming up Theo eventually, I hope. And then Star for Sedna, the scene of I love moves where you kind of are able to like you die but you come back. I think that they're wonderful within Card from Brindlewood, or like you don't really die, but like you end up knocked out someplace else or something like that. And I feel like you took that move, which is you just die, but you come back, you lose access to the move, and you really took it and ran with it. And you really like juiced it up and everything, and it was really good. And like it had me on the edge of my seat. I was shocked. It's really great stuff. Wishes. Uh I hope that Sedna and Pele's future partnership can only bring good things. But we're on warning. Not only does Pele support Sedna's rights, but Pele will probably support Sedna's wrongs after seeing all of that, just like essentially witnessing a rebirth, like a resurrection happen right in front of them, is like, oh, this just changes my whole idea about cosmology and life and the cycle of life and death and everything. Um,
It's a major theme this session, as it turns out.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll also like a star for like I love the it's different, but there's similarities of like the comparison between Jasper creating life out of conceptualizing a character and Pele creating life out of using wheat and like making a scarecrow, and how they approach them creating life, essentially, of me being like, this is a proxy for my friend who is no longer here. This proxy will act as my friend because I have pushed it forward, and Jasper being like, this is like you are what you are, and you must go for it. You are a lorry driver, and you must inhabit that and everything. I think it's very interesting. Like,
Well, and the Institute created life that got
yeah,
loose and ran around the
yeah,
forest. The Skyward Sprawl, the Dreamers
sprawl,
of
yeah.
Ease were creating life. Like like it was a big theme today. It was a huge, huge
Yeah,
theme.
Theo
Yeah.
prolonging life by taking on conditions regardless of the person. Yeah, like really cool themes in this one, and it really speaks to the system, and it speaks to this game in particular, of like you can really set the theme and the tone of your game by what assignments you pick, by like paying attention to what custodians you have at your table and then picking the assignments around that, and seeing what comes out of it. A lot of cool stuff will like kind of just come up from the ground and out of nowhere.
What's so
It's
funny because
cool.
this is a setting where in one session we basically did like 5 creation myths.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what
Yeah.
happens when you have a setting full of religions.
Ah.
There's just been so many like sort of foils between like Pele and the Pele Scarecrow and Jasper's little guy. Between Pele coming closer with Sedna and Jasper and Theo like driving a wedge between them. I'm looking forward to like how Jasper has a plan of making Theo better. Because Theo is determined to like either get Jasper under control or make him worse.
I'm going to make a better Theo. I never said I was going to make Theo better.
Oh God, that's even worse. You do that, Theo is going to be so mad. He's going to hurt you.
But I just added another wish. I'm excited for all of us to come back together.
Oh, I'm so scared.
Which will be
Because-
next session. Yeah, this
Yeah,
you will all
because
be
of all of
together
this
next time.
stuff.
Yeah,
It's gonna be like Sedna,
yeah.
and she's gonna immediately leave.
Who are you?
Oh, any other stars and wishes for this session?
God, like the characters that this session, Jason, have been amazing.
Okay.
Just like, oh yeah, I used to be an actor. This was my stage name, and I'm just like, oh my God, out of all the people that Jasper could have met, he met you.
Well, with all that said, we zoom in on a sterile cubicle. Well, not a cubicle, more like one of those little like study carrels, you know. And we see Novice Timber wearing a fresh, clean set of clothes, washed, munching on a package of Sweet Jolly Crunch Tooth cereal, dry, that she just got out of a vending machine, filling out an application and waiver to be a test subject for the Farragut Institute in exchange for a generous daily stipend. A person in a white lab coat takes her form, looks it over, and says, "Excellent, wonderful. Well, how do you feel about honey?" And we will end our session right there. Let's wave goodbye to everyone.